Today's topic is we are going to start probability distribution. So there are two types of probability distribution, the discrete probability distribution or the continuous probability distribution. Now what is probability distribution? Probability distribution is the theoretical counterpart of frequency distribution. That means, suppose I am collecting 100 persons, so there is a group of 100 persons, that is our sample, and out of those 100 persons, we are checking that how many males are there and how many females are there. So what is the expected count? Because we know the probability of a person to be a male is 1 by 2, 50%, and to be a woman is also 1 by 2. So means in theory we must have 50 males and 50 females in a group of 100 persons. So that is actual the theoretical probability that these are frequencies based on the theory and based on the probability. But actually the expected number means in practical the number may be different. Means we may have the 65 males or 35 females. Similarly, we can have 75 males or 25 females. So it depends on the uh, uh, practical situation. But the theory says that in a group of 100% we must have 50 males and 50 females. So the probability distribution means which we are going to study, they are the theoretical counterpart of frequency distribution. So in theory, what is the expected count? What is the expected frequency? So this is the definition of theoretical probability distribution. A theoretical probability distribution is the frequency distribution of certain events in which frequencies are obtained by mathematical computation. So, like in the example I told you, I have collected 100 persons. So, in theory, we must means we have 50 males and 50 females, because for every person, the probability of being male is 1 by 2, and similarly for female it is 1 by 2. So, in theory, we must have 50. If this sample is a random sample, means we are not collecting 100 persons intentionally or by knowing the person, but we are randomly selecting. Means suppose in your class, suppose in your class, suppose we have 100 students. So in 100 students, I don't know who is a girl student, who suppose I have the roll numbers only. I have 100 roll numbers instead of student's name, because through the student's name I can identify whether it is a girl student or boy student. But suppose I have somebody gave me the roll numbers of 100 students. So by observing the roll numbers of 100 students, I cannot tell how many girls students are there and how many boys students are there. But if I apply the application, means I apply this theoretical probability distribution, then I can say that out of these 100 students whose roll numbers are given, means 50 students would be girl student and 50 students would be boy students, because this is as per the theory. So theory says that for a student, means he's a boy student or a girl student, the probability is 50%. So based on the theory or based on the probability, I can say there are 50 girl student, 50 boy student, because I don't know who are the students. I know the roll numbers of the students only. So this is the frequency distribution of certain events in which frequencies are obtained by mathematical computation. So this data is given to you, then you have to count, suppose the number of male students and female students. Then you will apply the theory and you will say that there are 50% male students and 50% girl student. So it depends on the theory, whatever the probability is associated with that event. I am taking very simple event or very simple experiment that a student is male or female. So you know the probabilities are 1 by 2, 1 by 2 for each of the case. So it depends on the experiment and what are the probabilities. So next we have the types of theoretical probabilities. It is either discrete or continuous. So you know that for every experiment you have one sample space, and what is sample space? Sample space is the set of total possible outcomes of that experiment. So with respect to each outcome of that experiment, we have the probability. Like if we take the example of a dice, so if I throw a dice, so the possible outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So there are 6 possible outcomes, and with respect to each of these outcomes, we have the probability. Means what is the probability that we are getting one in throwing a dice? It will be 1 by 6. Similarly, what is the probability of getting even number when we are throwing a dice? So we have 3 by 6 probability. So with respect to each event in that experiment, we have the probability. So each event in a sample space has certain probability of occurrence. A formula representing all these probabilities which a discrete random variable assumes. So now in the discrete probability distribution case, we have the variable as a discrete random variable. Clear? We have the discrete random variable, means the outputs are the possible outcomes are they are discrete in nature. So for that variable, a formula representing all these probabilities, means this is probability formula for all possible outcomes with respect to that discrete random variable. It is known as discrete probability distribution. So I repeat the definition. In a sample corresponding to each event, we have certain probability of occurrence. A formula representing all these probabilities which a discrete random variable assumes is known as the discrete probability distribution. So you already know what is probability distribution. The function associated with the probability function associated with each possible outcomes of an experiment. So if the possible outcomes are discrete in nature, then we will say it will be a discrete probability distribution. And if the variable corresponding variable is continuous in nature, then the corresponding probability distribution would be continuous. So same for the continuous probability distribution. Each event in a sample space has certain probability of occurrence. A formula representing all these probabilities which a continuous random variable assumes is known as continuous probability distribution. So probability, the definition of probability distribution, they are equal in each of the case. Means the probability function which represents the probabilities corresponding to each possible outcome of that experiment. If the outcome of the variables are discrete in nature, then it will be a discrete probability distribution, otherwise continuous probability distribution. So these are some well-known discrete probability distribution: binomial, Poisson, geometric, negative binomial. These are some continuous probability distribution here where the random variable is continuous. So normal or Gaussian, uniform or rectangular, exponential, gamma, and beta. So these are discrete probability distribution. These are continuous probability distribution, in which out of these we have to study about binomial distribution and Poisson distribution. So these two we will study in this syllabus: binomial distribution, Poisson distribution. These are discrete probability distributions, and one continuous, that is normal or Gaussian. So this is one which is continuous probability distribution we will study in this syllabus. So total three: two discrete binomial Poisson and one continuous normal distribution. Now we start with the binomial distribution, which is discrete in nature. So binomial distribution was introduced by Bernoulli in 1700. It is a discrete probability distribution which has following properties. Now, if an experiment is repeated n times, the number of times, these are called n trials, where n is a finite positive integer. Suppose we are tossing a coin, and suppose we are tossing a coin 10 times, suppose. So 10 is the number of trials of that experiment. So this is represented by small n, which is called number of trials of that experiment. And so of course this must be a finite positive integer. Now, the outcome of each trial is classified into two mutually exclusive categories. Means, as an output of one experiment, we will have either success or failure. So there are two cases only, and these are two mutually exclusive cases. That means in one trial, either we can succeed or we can get we cannot get success. Clear? It would be either success or failure, not both, or means at least one of them and exactly one of them. So the outcome of each trial means, suppose we are tossing a coin 10 times. So in each trial means in each toss, either we will get what we want or we will not get what we want. Suppose in we are suppose throwing a dice. This is one our one experiment, and we want to check whether we are getting number 4 or not in throwing a dice. So throwing a dice is the experiment, and suppose we are finding out whether we are getting 4 or not. So in one experiment means in one trial, suppose we are throwing that dice, and on that dice either we will get 4 or we will not get 4. There are two possibilities only. So if we are getting 4, that means it is a success, and if we are not getting 4, it is a failure case. Clear? So the success may be anything. Means suppose you are you want to check whether we are getting even number or not. So if we are getting 2 or 4 or 6 in that experiment, so we will it would be a success. And if we are not getting any number 2 or 4 or 6, so other than that means the three possible remaining three possibilities means either we are getting 1 or 3 or 5. This will represent our failure case. Clear? So so it totally depends. Means success or failure totally depends what we want in that experiment. So tossing a coin, maybe we want to check about the tail. So if we are getting tail, then it is a success, and if we are getting head, it will be a failure. And suppose in throwing a dice, if we are checking if we want to observe whether we are getting 3 or 6, means what is the probability whether we are getting 3 or 6 number. So the success is when we will get either 3 or 6. If we are, suppose the experiment is throwing a dice and we want to observe whether we are getting any number multiple of 3. So multiple of 3 means there are two possible outcomes with respect to this requirement. Either we are getting 3 or 6. Both are both the numbers are, these numbers are multiple of 3. So if we are getting 3 or 6, it will be our success. But if we are getting 1, 2 or 4 or 5, this represents our failure. So this is what written in this statement. Our outcome of each trial is classified into two mutually exclusive categories. It is either a success or a failure. Now the probability of success, denoted by small p, remains constant for each trial. Means suppose we are tossing a coin 10 times and we are looking for the tail. So the probability of getting tail in one trial is means it will remain same for all of the trials. Means it is not the case then if we are taking the second trial and we are getting different probability of the same same requirement. So if we are looking for the tail in tossing a coin 10 times, so in each of the trial getting tail means probability of getting tail is equal. Clear? Means for first trial the getting tail is the probability is 1 by 2. For the second trial the probability is 1 by 2. For third trial the probability is also 1 by 2. So for all of the trials the probability of success remains constant. Now the trials are independent. What does it mean? It means then the outcome of one trial does not affect the outcome of other trial. So if we are getting the tail on first trial, it will not affect that whether we are whether we will get tail in the second trial or not. So it is totally independent trial. So all trials are independent. So these trials do not affect each other. Now suppose so now all trials are independent. Now suppose n is the number of means n is n represents the number of independent trials in an experiment. Let a random variable x denote the number of successes in these n trials. Let p be the probability of a success and q is the probability of failure. So of course, like I told that the outcome of each trial is mutually exclusive between success and failure. So if in one trial either we will be we will get success or we will not get success, so the total would be 1. Means we know that in tossing a coin either we will get tail or we will not get tail. So if we are getting the probability that what is the probability in tossing a coin means of what is the probability of whether we are getting tail or not, means we will get tail or not, what is the probability of this experiment? So it would be 1. Clear? So the probability of success plus probability of failure in a single trial is 1. P plus Q is 1. Then so what now, what are the parameters? N is the number of trials of that experiment, p is the probability of getting success in a single trial, and q is the probability of not getting success or means probability of a failure in single trial. So p plus q is equal to v. So we have n, p, q, and x represents the random variable, discrete random variable, that is x. So in binomial distribution, the probability of r successes in n trials is given by this. So we are repeating the experiment n times and there are n trials. So out of those n trials, how many times we are getting success is r. So r represents the number of successes in n trials. Clear? Suppose means in 10 tosses, how many times we are getting heads. So if we are looking for the head in one trial in a tossing a coin, then how many tails we are getting in 10 tosses. So that is the number of successes in n trials. So the probability of getting r successes in n trials is equal to NCR into p to the power r, q to the power n minus r, where r is 0, 1, 2, 3 up to n, because what is r? R is number of successes in n trials. So either we will get 0 success in n trials, or 1 success, or 2 success, or 3 success, or maximum we can get n successes in n trials. That means every time we are getting success in the each of the n trials. Means one experiment is repeating n times. So we are repeating that experiment n times, and in all of the trials we are getting success. That is the n case. So at the possible values of R, either we will get 0 success or 1 success or 2 success or 3 success or n successes. So clearly this how this formula has been derived, it is very clear by the probability combination concept that our successes can be obtained in n trials in NCR ways, because out of n we have to get the successes. Means we have to get our successes. So suppose we have we have 10 trials, and we want to check the suppose 4 successes. So 4 success means ये हो सकता है कि आप 10 ट्रायल्स में से कब कब आपको टोटल आपको 4 सक्सेसेस चाहिए, तो हो सकता है पहली बार में आपको सक्सेस मिले, दूसरी बार में ना मिले, तीसरी बार में ना मिले, चौथी बार में ना मिले, पांचवी बार में मिल जाए, छठवीं बार में मिल जाए. सो ओवरऑल यू आर लुकिंग फॉर 4 successes in n trials. So what are the different possibilities? So different possibilities are NCR. Out of n trials we are looking for R successes. So there are a lot of combinations. Clear? Success, failure, 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 success, failure. So out of 10 combinations we have to select 4 successes. So in this way, the same way, so out of n trials we are looking for R successes. So the total combinations are NCR. And if we are repeating, means suppose I'm taking very simple example of tossing a coin, and suppose we are looking for tail. So out, if we want to know that out of 10 tosses we want to have 4 tails. So how we will get 4 tails? 4 times we must have the tail on in tossing, and remaining 6 time we must have the heads in the tosses. So in this way we can have four successes in 10 trials. So I repeat what I'm saying. The example is, suppose we are repeating a toss, means the experiment is tossing a coin, and the trials are 10. So 10 times we are tossing, and we are looking, means our success is that we get tail in one toss. So tail in once, and now we are saying that suppose we want four successes in 10 tosses. So 4 successes means 4 times we must have tail on the tosses out of 10 tosses. So the 4 times we must have tails, and 6 times we must have heads. So in this way we can get 4 tails in 10 tosses. So this is same thing is written here, that success, because we are we are searching the R successes. So R times we must have successes, and remaining n minus R time. That means because the trials are n, so if we are looking for R successes, then R times we must have successes, and remaining n minus R means the how many time counts are remaining, n minus R, because R times we have already got the successes. So now the n minus R times we must have the failure cases. So if we count these, so total we are getting R successes out of n trials. And this combination, because this is the simple way that initially we are getting success, then we are getting false, means failure cases, but it must be like S, S, F, S, F, F, S. So there are a lot of combinations. So those combinations are NCR. So NCR is the combination, and so probability of getting R successes n minus R failures. So because all trials are independent, so this is the multiplication rule, that probability of getting S or S or S is equal to probability of S into probability of S into probability of S as R times, because these are R, we have R successes and remaining n minus R failure. That means probability of failure, probability of failure, probability of failure n minus R times. So this is NCR. And PS, what is the probability of getting success in a single trial is P, small p. So small p, small p, small p R times. And the probability of getting failure is small q. So small q, small q, small q, n minus R times. So this is P to the power r, Q to the power n minus r, NCR. So this is the probability distribution function for the binomial distribution. So there are two parameters. That means to calculate the probability in binomial distribution, we must have two parameter, either n or p or n or q. So number of trial we must know, and what is the probability of success or probability of failure. Why? Because if we know either of these p and q, we can have the other, because p plus q is 1. So if we know the p, we can have the q, and if we know the q, you can have the p. So out of these two, we must know one means either p or q, and other parameter is n. So this is parameter distribution, uh, which includes two parameter, n or p or n or q. So this is the probability function. Now, if an experiment consists of n trials and this experiment is repeated n times, suppose like I told you, we are tossing a coin 10 times, and suppose this is one experiment, means 10 tosses is equal to one experiment, and suppose we are repeating this experiment 5 times. So this is 5 is capital N. So in particular experiment we are tossing 10 times. So this set of 10 tosses is one experiment. And how many so we are repeating this 5 times. So capital 5 is capital, sorry, 5 is capital N. So the expected frequency of our successes in capital N uh, experiments. So the expected frequency is n into PR, means probability of R successes in one experiment, and one experiment, that means n trial, small n trials. So in small n trials, we are looking for R successes. So this is that probability. And now because this set of n trials, we are repeating this experiment capital N times. So if we multiply this probability to capital N, we will get the expected count. So in an experiment of 10 tosses, suppose we are getting the probability of getting 4 successes is suppose 25%. And if we are repeating this experiment 5 times, that means total sets of 10 tosses 5 times, that means total 50 tosses. So out of those 50 tosses, what is the probability of getting 4 successes in each of the trial? Clear? So if this probability is 25%, so if we multiply this capital N, means 5 into, suppose because we are repeating the set of 10 tosses 5 times, so this 5 is into, suppose 25%, so 0.25 into 5. So what is this? 1.25. So this represents the expected count. So of course this count must be one integer, positive integer. So we will round off that number to near to means which is near to the nearest integer. So this is that expected frequency of R is n NCR p to the power r q to the power n minus r, because this is PR, NCR PR q to the power n minus r. This is the value of PR, and capital N, if we multiply the capital N here, we will get the expected count, the expected frequency of R successes in capital N trials. Clear? And this is other notation of the binomial distribution, means simply you have to replace R. Some authors use small x in place of R. So probability of getting x, small x number of successes is NCX, p to the power x, q to the power n minus x. Clear? So here we have x is the discrete random variable which counts number of successes in n trials of an experiment. N is the number of trials, small x is the number of successes in n trials, small p is the probability of getting successes, probability of getting success in single trial, and q is the probability of failure in single trial. Clearly v plus q must be 1. And again, in terms, this expected frequency in terms of x, so fx is equal to npx, so capital N ncx p to the power x q to the power n minus x, where x is 0 1 2 3 up to n, because we can have maximum n successes and in n trials. So this is discrete variable. Clearly this is a discrete variable. Now because this is probability function, this is probability function, and this is for discrete variable. So this next remark is, this probability function is a PMF, probability mass function. And what is, if you remember, what is PMF? Probability mass function, any function which is non negative, means which is non negative for every possible combination, and the total probability is 1, then this function is called PMF, probability mass function. So in this remark we are saying that the probability function for binomial distribution is that represents one PMF, probability mass function. So the total probability must be equal to 1, and for the probability in each case must be non-negative. So this I have proved, that summation px, that means summation of total probability. So summation of what is the probability value, ncx p to the power x q to the power n minus x, and this is for every x, and how many x are there, 0 1 2 3 up to n. So x start from 0 up to n, this is the px. And if you remember, this is the binomial expansion definition. So somewhere I have written here this, the binomial expansion, p plus q to the power n is equal to nc0 p to the power 0 q n minus 0, nc1 p to the power 1 q n minus 1, nc2 p to the power 2 q n minus 2, up to ncn p to the power n q n minus n. And this is in terms of summation, summation r from 0 to n, ncr p to the power r q to the power n minus r. So this summation represents the binomial expansion of p plus q to the power n. So this is yeah. So this represents, because x varies from 0 to n, ncx p to the power x q to the power n minus x. This is binomial definition, binomial expansion definition, p plus q to the power n. So if you expand this binomially, then you will get this series. Clear? So, and you know that p plus q is 1, so 1 to the power n is 1. So this we have proved, that first property, the total probability is 1. And also because if you observe the p, what is the probability value, ncx p to the power x q to the power n minus x, and p is non-negative, q is non-negative, so all powers are non-negatives, and clearly ncx is combination, is a count which cannot be negative, so the total value is non-negative. Now the probability till now we have calculated what is the probability of getting x successes in n trials. Now the probability of getting less than or equal to k successes in n trials. So it would be whether we are getting 0 success or 1 success or k success, all are favorable cases. So in this case we have to add all the probabilities up to k. So 0 1 up to k. So x from 0 to k probability when x is small x, यानी आपको क्या करना है, summation what is the value of p x ncx p to the power x q to the power n minus x, and you have to add this from x is equal to 0 to k if this k is less than or equal to, x is less than or equal to k. So if it is less than or equal to 3, that means p0 p1 p2 p3, like this. Now the recurrence relation for binomial distribution. So probability of x plus 1 is equal to something into probability of x, means probability of getting x successes, x plus 1 successes is equal to something, this component into probability of getting x successes. So this is recurrence relation. So if you know that what is the probability of getting 4 successes, you can tell what is the probability of getting 5 successes. Clear? If you know the probability of getting 5 successes, you can have the probability of getting 6 successes. So this is that recurrence relation. So this is very simple derivation you can see. Probability of getting x successes is px. So ncx p to the power x q to the power n minus x. So this is, I have expanded this combination formula. NCX is factorial n factorial x n minus x factorial. This is same. Now px plus 1 is the ncx plus 1 p to the power x plus 1 n to the power, because here we have n minus r. So what is the value of r? X plus 1. So n minus x minus 1. Now the nc x plus 1 formula, factorial n x plus 1 factorial factorial n minus x minus 1 factorial into something. Now px plus 1 is this. uh, from here I have multiplied n minus x in the numerator and in the denominator, this n minus x n minus x. All other things are same. Now n minus x into n minus x minus 1 factorial is equal to n minus x factorial. Otherwise all terms are same. Now this I have sorry, this x plus 1 factorial can be written as x plus 1 into factorial x, and this p to the power x plus 1 is p to the power x into p, and q to the power n minus x minus 1 is q to the power n minus x into q inverse. So the n minus x I have taken this out, x plus 1 I have taken this out, p is out of this combination, q to the power minus 1 is out of this combination. Now what is left? Factorial n minus x factorial x into p to the power x q to the power n minus x, and this is what? This is the value of px here. From here this is the value of px. So n minus x by x plus 1 p by q into px. So this is the recurrence formula. Now the mean and variance of the probability distribution. So if you remember how to find out mean and variance of any probability distribution, so these are the answer. Mean would be NP for binomial distribution, variance is NPQ. Now we have to prove this. So this is your binomial distribution. Px value is NCx p to the power x q to the power n minus x, where x varies from 0 to n. Now mean of any discrete random variable is given by mu1 dash or expected value of x. If you remember, I explained you some formulas where we also went through the formula for mean of any distribution. So mean is mu1 dash, which is expected value of x. And what is mu1 dash? It is called first moment about origin. And how to find out the expected value of x for discrete random variable? We have to multiply x to the probability function and making sum for all possible values of x. So x is from 0 to n, x into px. This is the expected value of x for discrete case. ठीक है? अगर कोई वेरिएबल डिस्क्रीट नेचर का है तो उसके लिए एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यू कैसे निकालते हैं? x into px summation. So this is the mean formula. So what is now substituting the value of px? This is px. Now expand this formula ncx. So this is factorial n factorial x n minus x factorial. So now this is for x. This is for x from 0 to n. So whenever you, so in this we have n plus 1 term. So first term is when x is 0. So whenever you substitute x 0, this 0 into something would be 0. So for x is equal to 0, x into px would be 0. So this x, so x into something would be 0 for x is equal to 0. So the first term would be 0. So the next, from the next term I have written this expansion x from 0 to x from 1 to n, because the first term is 0. So from x from 1 to n, x into something. Now the factorial n can be expanded like n into n minus 1 factorial. Similarly, x factorial x can be written as x minus x into x minus 1 factorial. And n minus x factorial I have added means subtracted 1 and added 1. So there is no difference. N minus x can be written as n minus 1 minus x plus 1. So these 1 would be cancelled, and remaining remaining part is n minus x. Similarly, for p to the power x, I have written p to the power x minus 1 into p, and for q to the power n minus x, I have written n minus 1 minus x plus 1. So this 1 would be cancelled out. So now this x would be cancelled by this x. So what is left? N minus n minus 1 factorial, x minus 1 factorial, and the n minus 1 minus x minus 1. I have taken minus common from here. Now p into p x minus 1, and q to the power is same. There is no difference. So now the p, this p term and this n term, because these terms can be taken out of this summation, because this summation is for x. So the terms which are free from x can be taken out of this summation. So n into p, and other terms are already here. So now if you observe, this is n minus 1 x minus 1 n minus 1 x minus 1. So this is the value of n minus 1 c x minus 1. If you expand this combination, you will get this formula. Now the p to the power something, q to the power something, n into p. So this is for, now I have replaced x minus 1 from by the r. So when the how summation, when x is 1, so 1 minus 1 0, so r will start from 0, and when x is n, so n minus 1, so r will go up to n minus 1. So n minus 1 cr p to the power r q to the power n minus 1 minus r. I have replaced this. I have used this modification, x minus 1 is equal to r. Now this combination is again by binomial expansion. This is p plus q to the power n minus 1, because this is going up to n minus 1, starting from n minus 1 cr. So this is by binomial expansion. This is p plus q to the power n minus 1, and because p plus q is 1, so 1 to the power something is 1. So what is left? Np. So mean is Np. So in this way, we have proved that the mean of the binomial distribution is NP. So next derivation we will see in the next coming lecture, which is variance of binomial distribution is NPQ.